Was it mostly just the one call that led to you arguing with them, or was it kind of just throughout the game?
No, like I said, I thought, you know what? I thought you could say things at both ends of the court, but I thought it was sort of okay. Bo Becker's driving and guys are in, and they're not calling anything down there. You know, when they got us at the rim, and I thought the same thing happened down the other end. You know, I mean, there were calls where I don't know if they got fouled, but they didn't call them at both ends. I thought the game was, sort of uh, well officiated. You know, I mean, I didn't have any. Like I said, I didn't one time during the game. I wasn't saying you missed that or whatever. You know, it was just so. It's just unfortunate, because obviously we played unbelievably hard to come back. We played obviously so much better in the second half, and the real learning point for our guys is, we as a team can't afford to play sort of the way we played in the first half. They played well. They came in ready to play. They were off for 8 days. So they were ready, but we got to become and keep working at becoming the kind of team that no matter what, you're not going to play harder than we are. And they played harder than we did in the first half. And they played tougher than we did in the first half, and that's why they were up 15.
You see a 3-point swing because of technical fouls in a game as close as that was. Do you feel any regret at this point?
Of course. I mean, I got to, know that, yes, I do. I mean, obviously there wasn't, good in the grand scheme of things. And sometimes, you guys all know this, sometimes coaches do things to try to get their team, get a reaction, get the right response from their team. But, obviously I was upset. So that's all I can say. And, I got to do a better job.
Coach, obviously it was a different tale in the second half, but in the first half, they started off, Eastern Washington started off on a 10-0 run. We know it's a long season. What can you do in the future to prevent this from happening where your team is down by 10, just to begin the game?
Yeah, it hasn't really happened. And I did say to our staff, I don't know, we've been on the road and we've been tough and like there's an energy to our team and, we just didn't have it. And now, long week of school, last week of school, tons of finals, guys, tons of work. I just know that this week. No excuses, though. That's another thing our guys just have to learn. Like us as a program, us as a team, as we've improved so much, as I like this team and I know the guys feel really good about what we're doing. Like I said, we just got to learn that. Now, it doesn't matter what's going on, right? We got to come out and we got to play with like a fierceness and with such an energy and a focus. And we've had it and it's been coming, but we got to learn that we always have to have it. And then, whether it's 8, 9 guys that are playing, we got to get it from 8 and 9 guys. We can't just get it from 3 because there's going to be days where, read us, in the end, okay, you can look at his numbers and he didn't really play. He wasn't playing well in the first half. I know, well, okay, well, then we need everybody to have the energy and focus to sort of pick him up. And we got to be that kind of team. That's really all it is. For us to be as good as we can be, which I think can be pretty good, we got to be that kind of team. We got to embrace that kind of team. Every guy in that locker room has to embrace that aspect that, all right, I got to be so wired every day to develop that habit because if we hadn't had those 20 minutes, if we hadn't had the first 6 or whatever, all right, well, we all might know we're sitting here not disappointed, and that's what you got to learn from the disappointments. That's really what it's about. It's a season. You got to learn from your disappointments. I'm disappointed. Our guys should be disappointed, not discouraged. I'm encouraged. You know what I mean? I'm encouraged because there's a lot more there for us. But you got to learn from your disappointments.
You were saying that you are encouraged, and one encouragement is seeing the play of Bo Becker, especially the way that he was able to play in the second half. What has it been about his maturation of his game as the season has progressed?
Well, he's just a really mature kid, to use your word. I mean, he comes to work every day. He's the same kid every day, and that's another thing about maturity. You know what I mean? If you wanna play the same way every day, every game, if you want to come out and be ready to play and never have a first half like that, you got to be the same guy every day. You got to show up to practice every day with a certain mentality, ready to work and, just embrace the things that I'm talking about. And that's what the kid does. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's a junior, and he's done a really good job of that as a junior. Ethan Taylor does the same thing. That's why you see guys who are like that, they're consistent. We got to get to where right? We can we get to where it doesn't matter. We got 5, 6, 7 consistent guys. All right, if one or two guys is off that night, all right, but we got 5, 6, 7 every night. It's learned behavior, it's habits. We've gotten so much better at it as a program. I mean, I'm happy every day I go into that gym to coach these guys. Like, okay, I know I'm getting their effort today. Still got room for improvement though, and large part of it is we got those juniors, and then everybody else is freshmen and sophomores still. So that's the learned behavior aspect. But Bo and Ethan, are doing, and Jeff are doing an unbelievable job of like leading in that way, and that's really important so that those younger guys can develop those same habits.
Well, you look at a game as close as this one was, they get 3 points off of technicals. Is that pretty frustrating being a player and just see that happen, something that you personally couldn't control?
Yeah, it's frustrating. I know coach he's fighting for us. He's fighting for our calls. He wants us to succeed. Obviously, that's a little bit unfortunate, but a little bit frustrating. But we can get over that.
Well, I felt like despite the ending, the second half was very strong for you guys. Just what went into making the comeback that you guys made?
Just focusing on defense. We weren't playing very good defense. We had our hands down. They were hitting threes, making passes, kind of doing whatever they wanted to. They had 41 points in the first half. So just the defense really helped. They ended up with 20 turnovers, so we really kicked up the defense, got steals, so that's what helped us out in the second half.
I felt like from start to finish, this game was very chippy both ways, but you guys as players held your emotions pretty well. Just how were you guys able to do that, overcome some of the distractions that might come from Eastern being kind of a physical team?
Yeah, I mean, it was a kind of a weird game because it was like we weren't getting a lot of calls. They were letting us play, so I mean, just kind of staying with our offense, staying with what we do, just not knowing what the game plan is. That's what helped us.
Well, Bob, I'm just curious, what was the message in the second half for your team?
Just the defensive focus, and then once we get the defense, the offense will come with it. So just kind of rebounding defense, getting those steals that we need, bothering, pressuring them. So that's what helped us.
Every game is a learning experience for your team, especially as you get ready for conference play. How do you prevent starting a game on a 10 to nothing, deficit like you did earlier?
It comes with like our practices this week. It comes with our shoot around this morning. Like all that stuff plays into it. So it's just coming out here ready to play, knowing what the scouting report is, being focused. That's what we hadn't played a game in a week, so that's probably that went into it too. But just kind of maintaining focus throughout the game.
I know this is a loss, but you felt really comfortable with your 3-point shot. What made you comfortable out there on the court?
This is something I work on a whole lot. I help stretch the floor out, and once I hit one or two, then I'm getting them up. I'm there, and I'm seeing it in, and then I get a little bit hot. So I get more comfortable out in the game. So
A technical foul or two of them in that situation cost you guys a 3-point swing. Is that really frustrating for you too?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely not what you want to see, especially out of your coach. That's the head of the snake right there. But like Bo said, he's fighting for us. He's fighting for our calls. Like I typically, I get a little mad at the refs, but tonight it was just, it was one of those nights where you're like, what is going on? And I know Coach Scott, he's a passionate guy, and we know when a lot of things don't go your way, and it seems like it's repetitive, and the other team is getting it in your home court, it's hard to kind of hold back those frustrations.
I mean, you didn't extend the win streak tonight, but fighting back against a team like Eastern that made the NIT last year, what kind of confidence does that give you, even though you guys didn't win, still overcame an 18-point deficit at one point?
Yeah, it gives a little bit of confidence. We're still kind of frustrated about how we finished the game. Without those techs, without silly turnovers at the very end, we could have did a lot better than we did. But we're definitely confident. We know how good of a team we can be. It's just about putting our efforts to that potential and letting the results show.
I felt like the offense was much more crisp in the second half, just as far as ball movement, finding the open looks. What was different?
To be quite frank, we just knew what we were doing. First half, we were calling plays. It's loud in there sometimes, or guys not yelling out loud enough. We just didn't know what was going on, and when we get like that, we're just not very productive. In practice, all we do is run our plays. So when we get buttled down like that, we gotta get into something quick. I think in the second half, we focused really on making the simple play. Making it easy on yourself and your teammates, just being loud and being connected. So I think that's something that we changed for the second half for sure.
As the captain of this team, obviously you have the leading voice in the locker room. How do you prevent starting off a game down 10 to nothing again?
I think I just stressed the importance of starting hot. the past few games, we've made a strong effort to, try to get the ball inside, get the ball behind the defense, move around like that. I think this game, I'll definitely take some of the blame because, we didn't get our regular routine up. Guys weren't there. We had different mishaps, and, I wasn't there to correct that. So I think in the future, just being cohesive, make sure everyone's connected, know where our minds need to be to start these games.
At one point, you were down by 18. You were able to go and get the lead back in this one. What confidence does it give you for the rest of the season to be able to know that you could be able to come back from a deficit like that?
I mean, like I said, we know we're a good team. Like the 18-point deficit, it wasn't necessarily them. It was mostly us. So we just knew that we had to fight that much harder just to get back in it. But we knew it wasn't an impossible task because we're a good team. We have guys who can play very well, move the ball very well, play defense very well. We just weren't doing it in the first half.